I mean, you can't question Tyson Fury as an elite, as one of the greatest heavyweights. But if you're going on the Ngannou performance,
Danny Gaffone for pro boxing fans in Sheffield with a very G'd up Adam Smith. We are about an hour and a half away from Liverpool. Adam, talk me through your thoughts on the game before we come on to the boxing.
I'm just super excited, super nervous, all of those things. Yeah, I'm a passionate Red, and I'm gutted I'm not watching it with my kids tonight. 2 of my 3 have been brainwashed, and they're massively into it. So Jasmine and Oscar will be watching at home and hoping that there is the miracle of Istanbul, etc., or what happened at Anfield on that great night. It's going to be tough. Salah can get us a goal within the first 15 if we start really hot. Who knows? Let's hope. And there's still a title race to be won or lost. I believe in my guys, and this is Jurgen Klopp's swan song. So let's hope we can still get to Dublin come the end of May, and we stay in this competition as well as in the title race. So yeah, very excited, and a little bit nervy too.
Whilst I don't share all of your sentiment, I'm looking forward to the game. Let's talk about why we're here, the GBM show this Saturday night. Before we come on to the show itself, you've been working with GBM in an official capacity for a month, 6 weeks, give or take now. How have you found it so far, working alongside Izzy? You seem to have a great rapport with him already.
Absolutely loving it. Really, really loving it. There was something in the air, I think, when we first... I've met him before, and he's always told me to come to his shows, but it was here, actually, in Sheffield a few months ago, and we met at an event, and he just came up and he said, do you fancy coming to commentate on one of my shows? And I said, you know what? And there was something, when you get that chemistry, that synergy straight away. And he said he knew then that I'd end up working with him. And I probably think I knew as well. I love Matchroom, I love Queensberry, I love Boxer, I love all the guys and girls that I've worked with over the years from my broadcasting point of view. But I think I wanted to do 2 things when I left Sky. One is to look after and help athletes. And I'm doing that with Summit Sports and Ollie Weingarten, and I'm really looking forward to guiding them. But I also wanted to help out a promoter. Now, obviously, I'm very close to Eddie, I'm very close to Ben and the others, and I guess I could have gone that way. They don't need me. They're up there. They've cemented great deals. They're making fantastic fights, and I think Izzy is in a position where he's doing brilliant things. He's got a fantastic team behind him, and there's a lot of noise. Some great young signings, and I think this is the perfect time for me to try and help guide him in some way. LCS is on board as well. Steve Lillis has a lot of experience, and there's a lot of youth, and it's that combination that I think are going to make GBM very effective going forwards. I like the fact that it's not just here in Sheffield. We're going down to London. We're going up and down the country. We're going to travel the Irish Sea too. So there's some exciting events coming up, and I'm loving the momentum. And he's infectious to be around. He's charismatic. He's real. He doesn't need a script. He says it as it is. He's like a young Eddie. He's like the same sort of... It's different because obviously Eddie came from Barry and that stock and Matchroom, and Izzy was an athlete, he was a cricketer, he was a boxer, he's had different businesses, and he sat at ringside and he had a dream. I had a dream as a kid to be a commentator. He had a dream and he thought, I want to be a boxing promoter. Why not? I want to help him live that dream. I think it's a fantastic team. There's a great connection with me and Mitch Costello, who's his right-hand man, because Mitch's dad, Lee, and I used to work together for many years at Sky before tragically we lost him too young. Mitch was a 7-year-old kid at the time, and we've come back sort of to work together, Mitch and I think that's really special too. So I'm really excited. I've loved being around them this week. We had a fantastic night out last night. We're working really hard together, and the signings are great. Shaquille Thompson, one of the most dangerous southpaws, 6'3", aggressive, unbeaten middleweight in the country, but he's also one of the nicest guys out of the ring, who's got holding down a job. He's got 2 young girls. He's got a family to provide for. I really like Shaq. The Irish duo, Tieran Bradley and Kieran Malloy. I mean, Kieran, I was there at his pro debut. I called that the amateur experience between the pair. They're going to be fantastic. 2 Irish gems. And Kieran, I really think Kieran's going to become a world champion no matter what. And Tieran, I hope he will as well. So I think it's really exciting. There's some big signings. There's some great characters on the bill. Some guys just sort of starting out, moving from CrossFit or basketball. There's some great stories, and I just love his enthusiasm, his passion, his determination, and I'm just happy and privileged to be a part of it. So yeah, really enjoying it. It's going great. Can't wait for the show Saturday night and can't wait for the journey ahead.
You mentioned some of the names on the show Saturday. There's that show next month, which has got, Casey Benjamin. You've got Tevin Farmer on the card. I said
to Izzy, how did you find Tevin?
That's crazy.
I mean, Tevin, great fighter, wonderful fighter. I was like, where is Tevin Farmer? And suddenly he's on a GBM show. I think there's something magical about Izzy. Everyone I speak to is like, I like Izzy, I love Izzy. Izzy's doing it well, It's just different, and I think he's just, I don't know, maybe he was born to do this in a funny way. And the Tevin Farmer, the London show, we're coming to the capital by sport. That's my city, right? I said to Izzy, come to my city. Now I'm being looked after in Sheffield. I've got to look after them that week in May.
You've got some act to follow here.
I've got a big act to follow. They fed me so well last night. We were playing snooker. Tonight we're going to watch Liverpool. It's just going to be brilliant, right? Weigh-in tomorrow at Bramble Lane, Saturday night. He's talking about going to the game on Saturday as well. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm up in Sheffield. When he comes to the smoke, he's coming to our territory, right? I've got to take him out there and look after him. But yeah, really looking forward to May the 24th at York Hall, the home of British boxing. But I think it's going to look a different home by the time GBM have finished and been in town, so to speak. So really looking forward to that. There's plans for the Midlands. There's plans for Ireland. There's this huge drive this year with GBM Sports. So yeah, Summit Sports, GBM Sports, really enjoying that. Really enjoying picking up a mic again, commentating Saturday night as well. I'm doing the big fight from New York. Can't wait for that, Devon Haney and Ryan Garcia. So I'm going to be quite tired by Sunday morning. I hope my family look after me Sunday and maybe give me a bit of R&R.
What I was going to say, with that show on Saturday and the show we've just discussed in London, fighters talk about making statements. Do you feel as if those two shows are sort of statements from GBM in the sense that, we're not planning to be small hall promoters for too much longer?
I don't think we are small hall promoters. There may be smaller arenas at the moment, but that will grow with momentum. It snowballs. And I've been there when stories snowball. Ricky Hatton selling out a few hundred to a few thousand to whatever he sold at the Etihad, 58,000, the thousands that went to Vegas. Stories snowball and they roll. And, I said to Izzy, it's about, obviously you have to have talent and dedication, but it is about, storytelling. It's about the narration. And I think that is so important. And yeah, I do feel that there are real statements being made. Shaquille Thompson could have gone anywhere. Kieran Malloy, Tyrone Bradley, they could have chosen different routes. They've chosen GBM. And I think when one or two real quality fighters choose a platform, I think it tends to encourage and entice others. So yeah, really want to get on this train. I want to hope take those guys to the very top, the guys and girls. We've got some big plans in men's, in female boxing. I said to Izzy, we've got to have a real strategy the way forward. We're working very hard behind the scenes too, and we've got to stay in our lane. Okay, we're not there. We're not ready to compete with the others. They're in a different stratosphere at the moment. Saudi is fantastic. What's going on over there? It's absolutely brilliant. We can't wait for the undisputed. You, me, everybody in the world. But also, we got to look after the young talent here and keep them coming through and giving them a platform. And it's not just the young talent on this show, it's the return of a really, really great heavyweight in Hughie Fury, and that story, because Hughie is 3 years out of the ring, he's still just 29, he could be in that mix within 6-12 months in the Saudi mix. So it's giving the fighters opportunities to get out. It's giving the spectators, the fans, a chance to come to see a stacked show from top to bottom. Something different, the high production values. I really love it. And also we've got the snooker happening. Sheffield's alive this weekend, and it tends to be, when certain characters walk into a room, you take notice. Prince Nassim Hamid was one of those. When Naz walked into a room, people stopped and they just were around him. Eddie Hearn walks into a room, people stop. There's a charisma to Eddie. Izzy walks into a room and there's something about him. And I'm not comparing him. Eddie is way, way, way ahead, right? But there's something about Izzy that it's like a young Eddie, and I can't wait for that, to see where this story goes. I just want to watch it, and if he wants my advice and to help out, I'm there for him. And if I can help and the fighters want to ask me anything or pick my brains on my experience, the ups and downs of of boxing and what I've seen, absolutely. It's all about the athletes, it's all about the fighters. I keep telling it to Izzy and Mitch and everyone, they're at the epicenter. If they're not looked after, if they're not catered for, if they're not happy, no one's happy, and they are the ones we're here for. We are lucky, you and I, to be commentating, to be broadcasting, to be around the fighters. And in any sport, I think that. They adorn my walls. You know, the David Gowers and the Kenny Dalglishs and my heroes growing up, the Tommy Hearnses, the Barry Mcguigans, they're all on my walls. My kids have got posters on their walls. My eldest daughter has got Virgil and all the Liverpool players. They're the epicenter. They are what we do. You know, they're the athletes, and I love sportsmen and women, and I always will, and I always keep that. Whenever I pick up the mic, I think I am lucky enough to be doing this because they are putting their careers, their reputation, their lives on the line for our entertainment, for our enjoyment. I'm not good enough to get in a ring or get on a court or play football. I'm just in awe of the people that can do it, and I just love telling their stories.
Adam, the last time we spoke was in Morecambe at the impromptu Tyson Fury press conference, which I'm still not sure what the purpose of it was, but it was a very fun, very different day out. The main takeaway a lot of people have had from that press conference is how good a state Tyson seems in, both mentally and particularly physically. You've, I'm sure, spent a lot of time around Tyson at various different stages of his career. What did you make of his demeanour, his appearance, last week?
I was super impressed, and yes, Tyson, you don't know quite what you're going to get sometimes, but I loved the way that he was on the dais and he just rolled off boxing history and all the sort of unifications, cruiserweights, the big guys, the little guys, and I just was thinking, great, and I was trying to catch up. I was thinking, is he going to get all this right? And I was thinking, he's probably going to come to me and he's going to say, you don't know that and you don't know that, because he is encyclopedic, he's fantastic, and I love that about him. I love his passion, and for all the money he's made and all the titles he's won and the accolades in boxing, you know, you can see that pure passion is still there. I thought he looked in immaculate physical shape. I love the fact Greg's working with him on his conditioning side, Sugar and the team, and you know, it's a flying team. Okay, he didn't perform against Francis Ngannou, he was terrible. He had the cut, and hopefully, you know, physically he's absolutely immaculate, and he needs to be on May the 18th to be able to handle someone as hot and as good and as talented and as brilliant as Alexander Usyk. It's a phenomenal fight. I think Tyson is, to me, in the best mental and physical condition he can be. We don't know what the Wilder fights might have taken out of him, possibly. We don't know what Daniel Dubois and Usyk and the slightly disappointing performance from Usyk that night. But look, at their best, at their very best, they are the elite. They are unbeaten. They're the world heavyweight champions. It's for all the marbles. It's for all the belts. There's more treasure to be taken home, I think. It's not just the millions they're making for the fights. It's all the luggage, the suitcase of belts they're going to have to take home to the Ukraine or to Britain. It's a great fight. Does a good big guy beat a good little guy? He's not that little, Alexander Usyk. Tyson's very big. But how good is Tyson Fury still, and how good is Alexander Usyk? And what about styles? Styles make fights. You know, Alexander Usyk was brilliant when he got into the AJ fight, the first fight, and he took center ring. He's going to have to start really quickly. And if you can get those first 2-3 rounds and get into a rhythm, it could become very, very interesting. Otherwise, you sort of got to fancy Tyson at his very best. He should beat Alexander Usyk because that big size difference. You look at the sort of Bowe and Holyfield, you know, the big guys, the little guys, Lewis and Holyfield, the Tysons, it can work like that, but you never know in boxing. And Alexander Usyk is such a super fighter that you can never write him off at your peril. I remember Alex Crasio saying the night before AJ, he's all wrong, AJ. Everyone was fancying AJ to be too big, too good. He said, he's all wrong for AJ. He's a southpaw. You know, AJ doesn't like southpaws in the amateurs. And he was absolutely right. And AJ got it close to the second fight, but he didn't do enough. And yeah, look, they both, there's little weaknesses you can look at, but they're both outstanding fighters. And that is what we want. We want a cracking heavyweight fight, which is the pinnacle of sport, the world heavyweight title and all the belts. The first time since the Garden, 25 years ago, Holyfield and Lewis, then the rematch in Vegas. I was lucky enough to be there for that, and a quarter of a century later it comes together again. The world will stop for that week. May the 18th, boxing's eyes will be on, and let's just hope we get an absolutely fabulous fight. It could be technical, it could be strategic, it could be exciting, we don't know. It's heavyweight boxing. But I tell you what we are. We're getting the best fighting the best, and that's what we want in the sport. So I thought Tyson's demeanor, his shape, that impromptu press conference, I think he probably just wanted to show the world that he's very, very serious, at 40 days out. And I can't wait for it. I've been very close to both of them in very different ways all through their careers. I've watched them from afar. I've watched them up close. I remember Tyson being 25 stone plus in Monaco. I never thought he'd get back in a ring. I mean, it's amazing what he's done. Alexander, to come over here, he's done so much in Britain. You know, we love him. He's fantastic. The line I keep coming back to is the night before he fought Tony Bellew, Alexander Usyk. We had a meeting at the end of after the weigh-in. We had a final sort of fighters meeting and interview. And the last thing he said, I said, Alexander, sleep well before the fight. Rest well. And he said, rest? I go to the disco. That's Alexander Usyk for you. He's a character, he's quality, he's funny, he's intelligent, he's a brilliant guy in boxing. I love him. I love Tyson Fury. May the best man win, and that's what the world wants to see. The whole world will be watching the undisputed world heavyweight title on May the 18th in Riyadh, in Saudi. Thanks to Turkey, to Dr. Rakan, to everyone that's made it possible, because this sport needs that. But it also needs the big shows in Britain too. We got one on Saturday night, which we can't wait for. So it's fantastic, isn't it? Everywhere you look. Katie Taylor-Serrano, Lauren Price fighting for a world title in a few weeks' time. Dalton Smith was brilliant up here the other week. Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark took my breath away. One of the greatest domestic heavyweight fights I've ever seen. The bar is being set everywhere at the moment. Isn't it great?
Keeps me in a job, so it certainly is, Adam. You talked about the sort of history lesson Tyson gave us at the press conference about cruiserweights who had gone up and beaten good heavyweights, but in Tyson's words, fell short when they got to that elite stage. Now, I read Barry Mcguigan's column in the Mirror, and he basically said if Tyson is comparing Usyk to these other cruiserweights, he's in for, I think, rude awakening, was what Barry said. And he also questioned whether Tyson is the elite heavyweight that he's portraying himself as. Do you think that's harsh, questioning Tyson's status as an elite heavyweight, or can you see where your old hero Barry Mcguigan's coming from?
Absolute hero. Barry was one of the reasons I got into boxing. You know, I love the way everyone came together for him in Ireland at that time as well. And within a year of being at Sky as a 23-year-old young man, suddenly Barry Mcguigan came, and I had a year of working with Barry. I mean, you say dreams are made. Barry's a very wise boxing guy, was a brilliant fighter, and you've got to take his word seriously, of course. Everyone has opinions. Personally, I think Tyson Fury is an elite heavyweight. People ask me whether he's as good as Lennox Lewis. It's very difficult to compare eras. For me, Lennox Lewis is the greatest British heavyweight we've had. I believe that. I believe Lennox Lewis and Joe Calzaghe at his weight are the greatest that we've had in my time in boxing. And Floyd Mayweather worldwide, the greatest that I've seen live and watching all through his career. But Tyson Fury has got to be right up there, right? An elite premier heavyweight, the heavyweight in the world. I think more for me, the way that he won the world heavyweight title out in Germany against the odds, and then had the fall or the difficulties, and then build himself back with Ben Davison and all of that to get back into a ring, even just to get back into a ring, and then get up off the floor against Wilder, become world heavyweight. I mean, you can't question Tyson Fury as an elite, as one of the greatest heavyweights. But if you're going on the Ngannou performance, you've got to question what Tyson Fury is going to be in that ring on May the 18th. What about the cut? What is going to happen? And also those build-ups. Is that going to affect either of them? Alexander Usyk is a brilliant, technical, wonderful fighter. And he could give Tyson Fury nightmares. But Tyson Fury could also be too big and too strong and just too much physically. Could he outbox Usyk? They think they're going to walk in and destroy him, I think. They think they're going to maybe march him down a bit like Deontay Wilder. The second fight. Third fight didn't end up like that with Wilder, did it? First fight, how did Fury get up? How did Alexander Usyk come up and be so good at heavy? I mean, all of these questions, they're just elite fighters. Who is a better amateur? Alexander Usyk was a better amateur. The better pedigree. Is he the better all-round technical fighter? Arguably. But Tyson Fury is unpredictable. At Tyson Fury's best, he should win this fight. Is he at his best? None of us know that. And I'll tell you something, whatever Tyson Fury says and whatever Alexander Usyk says, neither of them know how this fight's going to go. They might think they do, but they don't. And I think that is because of the respect that they have for each other. With all the hoopla, and they know. They know. That's why Tyson's in the shape you saw him in Morecambe. That's why Alexander Usyk will leave no stone unturned. This is a man that went back on the front line to fight for his country. He's an unbelievable man, Alexander Usyk. This is going to be an incredible fight. Let's bring it on.
I hope you're on a percentage, Adam, because I'm getting goosebumps here listening to you describe it. Could talk about the fight for hours, but there's one last thing I want to get your thoughts on. You referenced the Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia fight coming up this weekend. Excited, concerned, something in between?
I mean, I love fighters. The health and well-being of fighters is at the epicenter of everything. Of course it is. I'm not around this fight. I haven't been around their camps. I'm not the person to ask what sort of condition they're in. They've taken tests, they've taken drug tests, they've taken medicals. It's strange. You know, what's come out has been a very, very odd build-up. But also you don't know how deep that is and whether that is exaggerated or how it will unravel. We can't really go there. I think what I can look at is that it is a wonderful fight. They fought 6 times before. They're 3 apiece. They fought as kids. They've come through the system. I've known Devin since he was 10, 11, a product of Floyd's gym. Ryan Garcia, the poster boy. Everyone says he's the Instagram fighter. He's a great fighter in his own rights. Oscar De La Hoya spent a lot of time with Oscar in his career. Oscar backs this kid, right? Ryan Garcia is a fast, dangerous, hard-hitting, talented fighter. It wasn't his night against Gervonta Davis. Maybe it will be his night against Devin Haney. I like Devin Haney a lot. I think Devin Haney is so talented. He's so technical. You know, when he went to Australia and then went again to Camboza's fights, you know, he showed how good he is. And I think that he is the right favourite going into this. But it wouldn't surprise me if Garcia upset the odds. And could he hurt Devin Haney? He's got the power. He's got the speed. But I think Haney's a class act, and it's difficult. Ryan Garcia's got it all to prove. It's a fantastic fight. I can't wait to call it for TalkSport. I'm really excited. I've got the British bill first, and then it's straight down to TalkSport Towers, and let's call that fight because it's a great one. And let's hope it's another firecracker in New York. And I'm very jealous that Eddie and the guys are out there for it. But look, I'm here in Sheffield. We've got GBM Sports show. It's going to be electric from 5 o'clock till 11, whenever we got that Magna Centre for. And it's going to be a fast shoot down the M1 for Spencer and I, and we can't wait for the Haney-Garcia fight. I know you can't wait for it, and it's got everything, the ingredients, the history, the rivalry, the talk. Let's hope the fight delivers. I'm sure it will.
Cracking night of boxing. Just make sure whoever's driving out of you and Spencer to get plenty of coffees, and it's a late one. Adam, always a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the fight week in Sheffield. See you on Saturday night.